So Jasmine, which one would you like me to go over? Which one? 6? All right, number 6. The product of 3 times the number and 12 is 20. What does product mean? Multiplication. If you're multiplying, that means 2 things are being multiplied. What's the first thing? 3x, 3 times the number, and 12, and then equals 20. Shh, be quiet. All right, next question. Mm-hmm. 2x. Okay, what number did y'all say? 10? All right, number 10. 12 more than a number divided by 3 is 9. Okay, well, how do you write 12 more than a number? X plus 12. Because it is only because it's addition, but for subtraction, you have to do it in the right order. 12 more than a number, the 12 comes after the number because it's more than the number. Okay? And then divided by 3 equals 9. No, the whole thing's divided by 3, not just the 12. Okay, other questions. Guys, there's too much talking. Other questions from the homework? Okay, 14. Number 14, 5 times 2 less than a number equals 17. Okay, well, so you're obviously going to multiply 5 by something. What are you multiplying the 5 by? 2 less than a number. How do you represent 2 less than a number? Okay. How do you represent 2 less than a number? X minus 2. 2 less than a number. How do you show that all of that's being multiplied by 5? Parentheses. Show that all of it's multiplied by 5. If you didn't have the parentheses, just the x would be touching the 5. And then equals 17. Okay, one more question from the homework. What do y'all want it to be? 16? We just did 14. All right, number 16. Be quiet. If the sum of a number and 7 is divided by 4, the result is 19 more than the number. Okay, sum of a number and 7. How do you write that? X plus 7 divided by 4. The result is 19 more than a number. How do you write that? Jamarion, you're about to go sit somewhere else so I can teach. X plus 19. No, I don't mean in this room. Okay, now go to page. Okay, I'm going to do the odds with you. Number 1's already done, so let's look at number 3. 4 less than a number multiplied by 6 is 25. How do you write 4 less than a number? Okay. And then all of it's multiplied by 6, so how do you show that? Right, and then you can write 6 here, and that's okay, but normally we put the 6 in the front. And then is 25. Number 5's pretty easy. 45 divided by a number is 5. How would you write that? So over x, right. Right, so in that case, the number would be 9, because 45 over 9 is 5. Number 7, 5 more than 1/3 of a number is 18. Is it plus 5 or 5 plus? Right, because 5 is more than something, and what is it more than? Right, and that's 1/3 times x. Of is another word for multiplication. It also could be used for division, because think about it. Isn't 1/3 x the exact same thing as x over 3? Okay, because if you don't understand why, isn't there an understood 1 here? So that's the same thing. Okay, that's why of could be used for both of them. All right, and so 5 more than 1/3 of a number is 18. Number 9. twice the number divided by 4 is 25. What does it mean to be twice something? Double, which is multiplied. So 2x divided by 4 is 25. You can, but like on the test, you're going to see it written like this. Okay, number 11. The sum of a number and 3 divided by 5 is 2 more than the number. Okay, well, how do you write the sum of a number and 3? Okay, and then divided by 5. So divided by 5 would be equals 2 more than a number? X plus 2. Anytime you see that word more or less, the number comes after what it's more or less than. And then number 13, 6 more than 1/4 of a number is 15. Right? Equals 15. Okay, number 15. If the sum of a number and 7 is divided by 2, the result is 19. So how do you write the sum of a number and 7? X plus 7. And 7 plus x would be okay, but only because addition is what property? Commutative. Order doesn't matter with addition. But we try to stay in the habit of writing them the way they told us, and they wrote number first, so I put the number first, and then 7. It's divided by 2, and the result is 19, so equals 19. Okay, now we're going to skip page 7 for now, go to page 8. Okay, on page 8, we're on the left side. The top one's already done for you. So we're going to go down to that middle one that says, I'm thinking of a number. If you multiply it by 8 and then add 17, you will get 33. What is my number? Well, before you do anything, do you know what the number is? No. And what do we use for unknowns? A variable, and yes, we normally use x. Okay, so the number is x, but they tell you to multiply it by 8 and then add 17. And you will get 33. So that's the equation to represent the scenario. Now how do you figure out what the number is? Right, you're going to solve for x, right? So you're going to subtract 17 first, because that's inverse operations. It'll cancel on the left side, and you move it to the right side, and it becomes what? Right, so now on the left we have 8x, on the right we have 16. Now it's a one-step equation. Now how do I isolate the x? Right? Because on this test, sometimes the answer choices may not be this number. The answer choices may be 4 equations, and you have to pick the right equation. Okay, so we got 2. Let's verify and make sure that makes sense. If you take the number 2 and multiply it by 8, that would be, and then if you add 17 to that, would that take you to 33? Yes. Okay, now let's try this one. I'm thinking of a number. Okay, so since we don't know it yet, we put x. If you multiply it by 8 and subtract 13, you will get 43. So that's the correct equation. And like I was just telling Justin, even if you can figure out the number without the equation, that sometimes will not be helpful on the test, because the test choices may be the equation. They want you to be able to write the equation. So what do? It's already, so add 13. Right, you do the inverse of what's already there to cancel. Now I have 8x equals what? And now and so x equals 7. Okay, let's make sure that works. If 7 is my number and I multiply it by 8, that would be, and then if I subtract 13 from 56, I'll have 43. Okay, now we're going to go down to the bottom, that little comic. Okay, does anybody want to read it? Okay, Justin, go ahead. Okay, so let's see what went wrong. Did Randy set up the equation correctly? Yeah, he set it up right. There's the number, multiplied by 5, added 3, and you get 48. So why did he not get the right answer? Right. Why can you not add the 5 and the 3? Right, they're not like terms. This 5 has an x, the 3 doesn't. You cannot combine them. What should he have done? Right, so let's go ahead and do that. If you subtract 3, the right side becomes 45. And then when you divide by 5, you get 9. Okay, let's now check that. If you take 9 and you multiply it by 5, that would be, and if you add 3 to that, you get 48. Okay, for the next 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how long it takes you, I want you finishing up page 8 and finishing up page 6. Now, I'm aware that there's one on page 8 that's going to give you some trouble. I still want you to work it by yourself, and then I'll go over it. Just see what you can do. So finish up page 6 and 8, and then after I've answered questions, we'll move on. Go back on for a second. Okay, for the next one, the equation was 5x minus 7 equals 53. Once you added 7, that became 60, and then divide by 5, you get 12. Everybody got that? Okay, and then Layla's going to attempt this one. All right, I'm thinking of a number. If you multiply the number by 5 and you subtract 24, you will get the number I'm thinking of. So you have to put another x because they don't tell you what you're getting. They just tell you you will get back the same number. Now, what most of you have trouble with is recognizing that this is a 1x. Now, so if you have a 5x over here and a 1x over here, don't you need to put them on the same side because they're like terms. So we're going to subtract the 5x over to the 1x. And the reason I moved this one over here is because I already had a constant value on this side. So that means I might as well move the variables to the right side. So now on the left, I still have my constant value of negative 24. And on the right, I now have 1x minus 5x, which is negative 4x. Then from there, you should be able to finish it, divide by negative 4. And that's how you get the positive 6 because a negative over negative is a positive. Now let's verify that it's right with the scenario. If the number you're thinking of is 6 and you multiply it by 5, that would be 30. And then if you subtract 24 from 30, that will take you right back to 6. Okay, now turn to page 6. Okay, I am only going to go over 3 of these because we got to move on. Which ones do you want it to be? Okay, 16. Okay, let me erase that. Okay, number 16 is first. If the sum of a number and 7, so sum is addition, you're doing a number and 7, is divided by 4, the result, which means the answer, is 19 more than the number. X plus 19. 19 more than a number. 4. Okay, number 4. 1/2 of a number would be 1/2 times x, of means multiply, is where you put an equal sign, 7 less than the number itself, x minus 7. Itself just throws you off. Okay, last question, what do you want it to be?
I already said 8.
8? We already did it, Jamarion. Number 8, 9 less than 3 times a number. How do you write 9 less than 3 times a number? 3x minus 9. Shh, be quiet. Divided by 4 is 21. Okay, now flip to page 9. I'm doing 2 more problems with you, and then I'm assigning the work. Homework. Okay, page 9. All right, we're starting with this one right here about a 16-foot board. No, I don't have time. I know, I drew that on there. A 16-foot board is to be cut into 3 pieces. So here's your 16-foot board. We're going to cut it into 3 pieces. Piece 1, piece 2, and piece 3. two of the pieces must be 4 feet shorter than the third piece. Pay attention. The third piece isn't changing. The other two are going to be what? 4 feet shorter. How do you represent that? -4, -4, right? We're taking 4 feet away from each of the first two pieces. Now, you're not going to be able to do an equation with P1, P2, and P3. So I'm going to call each piece X. But piece 1 is going to lose 4 feet. Piece 2 is going to lose 4 feet. If I were to add up all three pieces, they would add up to how many feet? Guys, the board's 16 feet. So all three pieces add up to 16 total feet. Now we can combine like terms and solve for X. So when we combine like terms, you get how many X's?
3.
And then how many constants? And now to solve, you do what?
Add 8 on that side.
And so 3x equals,
24.
and now you divide by 3, and that's how you get 8. Okay, but does 8 feet represent piece 1, piece 2, or piece 3? Piece 3, because look, under piece 1, it's x minus 4, and same thing for piece 2. Piece 3 is just a regular x. So if this is piece 3, what were piece 2 and piece 1? 4. Okay, does that make sense? Do those three values add up to 16 feet? Yes. Okay, let's look at this one down here about Raul. Has everybody copied this? All right. Raul has to finish a 473-page book in a week. He decides to read the same number of pages each weekday and 30 extra pages on Saturday and on Sunday. How many pages will he have to read on Wednesday? Okay, well, think about this scenario. He's reading it over a week, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, they do tell you that he decides to read the same number of pages on the weekday. So, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, they can all just be a regular X because he's reading the same amount. But on Saturday, it would be what? No, because X plus 30. He's reading what he already read on each weekday plus 30 more. And then what about Sunday? Same thing. Now, if I were to add all of this up, well, but what do I set the equation equal to? I'm going to have to put it over here. 473, because that's how many pages are in the book. Now, when we combine like terms, you get what? Plus 60, because over the weekend he's getting in 60 additional pages, 30 each day. And now to solve for X, what do? Okay, so now we have what equals 7X. And now what do? And so X equals, okay, so if they say how many pages will he have to read on Wednesday, what's the answer? What if they'd have said how many pages will he read on a Sunday? 89. Okay, on your assignment sheet, get out your pink sheet. Get out your pink sheet. All right, on your pink sheet, this is the second assignment. So today's day is 10/19, and you're going to finish page 9. Now, since there are only 3 problems, you better have them all done or you won't get a stamp. Even if you're not sure it's right, you better have some work shown or you will not get a stamp. Okay, you have to show your work.